Ever wonder why Puerto Rico has so many different versions of the flag? Look, there are places where a flag is just a flag. And then there's Puerto Rico. Here, people carry their flags on their houses, in their cars. They put stickers on their cars, even if they live in Puerto Rico, but they carry it all over the world. And there's a Puerto Rican, they're gonna show their flag, whether it's in their car, their house, their office, anywhere. But here is the strange part. Puerto Rico doesn't just have one flag story. It has several. A failed republic, a Spanish provincia, a flag created in exile, a flag created just for the Olympic Games. And even today, Puerto Ricans will argue over one simple question. What blue is the real blue? Look, if you're in the rest of the states, in Canada, in Ireland, Spain, France, I get it. You're probably confused. But most Puerto Ricans, they are too. And this is what this episode is all about. Welcome to another great episode of Chronicles and Cocktails. I'm Josue, the spirited historian, and today I wanted to talk about the flag, so here we are. Before we continue, please give it a like, subscribe, and share. That way, you'll never miss another episode again. Today, we're asking a lot of questions about just one flag. How many flags do we have? How many shades of blue are there? Which flag is the official flag? Which one was the first? And there are two flags that a lot of people don't know about. So let's begin this episode where Puerto Rico started centuries ago, when Cristobal Colón arrived in 1493. On November 19th, 1493, when Christopher Columbus landed on the western shores of the main island, today known as Puerto Rico, he claimed this island for the Spanish crown. In his Diario de a Bordo, Cristobal Colón wrote that his fleet carried a royal standard of the crown of Castile, representing the Spanish monarchy, and La Capitana. La Capitana was a flag of a white background, a green cross in the center, and a green F and Y crowned with golden, open royal crowns for Fernando de Aragon and Isabel de Castilla, the Catholic monarchs of a unified Spain. So technically, this was the first flag for Puerto Rico. Later, the Cross of Burgundy, the flag of the Spanish Empire. And we still see this flag today in San Juan. If you look closely, you will see the Cross of Burgundy flag flying right next to the Puerto Rican and the United States of America flags. That matters because the Puerto Rican flag is not just about design. In 1868, the Grito de Lares tried to create an independent Puerto Rico. The flag associated with that uprising was meant to represent the revolutionary republic the rebels hoped to establish. This is the flag of aspiration, sacrifice, and failure. Failure in the immediate political sense. Yes, the revolt did not survive, but failure does not mean irrelevance. In many nations, the first important flag is not the one that won right away. It is the one that announced a people's desire to exist. This is also where people often simplify too much. Many Puerto Ricans know the Lares flag as a patriotic icon. Fewer stop to ask, where did it come from? Who made it? And what influences shaped it? The design has been linked to Ramón Emeterio Betances, and the making of the revolutionary banner is commonly associated with Mariana Bracetti, though historians also connect Eduviges, Beauchamp, Sterling to the making of the flag and to the revolutionary network around Lares. The popular version is often told too neatly. The real version has more than one woman in it, and that matters. The Lares flag was not a product of comfort. It was the product of rebellion. There is something deeper here that most people are not told. The Lares flag was often presented as purely Puerto Rican, but its design is not isolated. The colors, red, white, and blue, are not random. They echo the French and American revolutionary traditions, both of which were seen in the 19th century as symbols of liberty, republicanism, and resistance to monarchy. And the white star? That symbol had already been used in the United States of America as a representation of the states within a union, a political idea tied to expansion, identity, and sovereignty. So from the very beginning, Puerto Rico's flag was already part of a much larger conversation, not just about Puerto Rico, but about what kind of republic it wanted to become. I think it's time for a cocktail before we keep going. Alright, so here we're gonna do one of my favorite Sunday cocktails. Rum and passion fruit. It helps me relax. It lowers my blood pressure. Ice, as much or as little as you want. I always have a jigger, you know I'm a bartender, but today's Sunday. So, we just pour. Shake. And this is natural passion fruit, sugar-free, no sugar in it. I can't have a lot of sugar. And just pour. Take the bar spoon and just mix. Look at that color. Tropical, rum, and passion fruit. And it's refreshing too. Let's go back to the episode. Yeah. And now we get to the flag many Puerto Ricans don't know it even existed. La bandera de la provincia de Puerto Rico, the provincial flag of Puerto Rico, like any other provincia of Spain. During the First Spanish Republic in 1873, Spain issued a distinct flag for Puerto Rico. It featured red fields, a yellow cross, and the coat of arms of Puerto Rico in the center. This was not a flag of independence. This flag was the symbol of Puerto Rico being part of Spain as its own province. So it did represent the people of Puerto Rico within the Kingdom of Spain. That makes it historically important. It tells us that between revolutionary Puerto Rican symbols and modern nationalist symbols, there was also an official Spanish-era Puerto Rican provincial identity. In plain English, Spain gave the province of Puerto Rico a flag as its symbol. This is one of those details that instantly complicates the simple story people think they know. The flag Puerto Ricans know today was adopted by the Puerto Rican Revolutionary Committee in New York in 1895. Yes, in New York. It was created in the orbit of Cuban independence activism and was explicitly modeled on the Cuban flag with the colors reversed. The colors reversed part is interesting to me for reasons I will talk about later. This is one of the most globally interesting parts of this story. Puerto Rico's current flag was not born in San Juan. It wasn't born in Ponce. It wasn't born in Utuado. It was born in New York, among revolutionaries tied to the independence struggles of Cuba and Puerto Rico. If you are an American viewer, that should hit you immediately. A symbol now seen as deeply Puerto Rican was born in America, New York to be exact. And this is before Puerto Rico became part of America in 1898. And this is where authorship issues come up. Many people credit Antonio Vélez Alvarado. Others point to the broader Revolutionary Committee context. And the history of the design is not as clean and undisputed as people present it. The safest historical fact is that the committee adopted the design in 1895. The human story behind that remains debated. Now, here's where the story becomes even more interesting. There is an argument, not universally agreed upon, but taken seriously by some historians, that Ramón Emeterio Betances, one of the intellectual leaders of Puerto Rican nationalism, played a role in the shaping of the symbolic direction behind these designs. Betances was deeply influenced by the liberal thought, by the Republican experiments of America and France, and by broader
revolutionary movements of the 19th century. And this is where the triangle becomes important, because the triangle, especially in the 19th century, was widely associated with Masonic symbolism. In many revolutionary circles of the time, Freemasonry was not just a fraternal organization. It was tied to ideas of liberty, equality, secular governance, and resistance to traditional monarchical and religious authority. So when you look at the Puerto Rican flag, you are not just looking at a Caribbean design. You are looking at a symbol shaped by Atlantic world revolutionary ideology.
I visited the tomb in Manatee of the men associated with the creation of this flag. And even then and there, with the silence of the cemetery around me, the story is still not quiet. Because Puerto Rico does not just debate politics, it debates memory. Now, we get to the part that can start a family argument, a political argument, and a common war all at once. What blue is correct? And I'm just holding two, the celeste and the official. But there's still a darker royal blue. Was the original triangle a lighter blue, a darker blue, something closer to the Cuban flag? What happened to that blue? Did later something change to resemble the blue of the United States flag? Here is the honest answer. The modern public argument is far more precise than the historical record itself. The 1895 design was based on the standardized color values, were not fixed the way people now imagine. Later, different governments and political tendencies embrace different shades.
And this is where the conversation becomes uncomfortable for some people, because if the triangle is tied to Masonic symbolism and the colors reflect French and American Republican ideals, then what exactly is this flag representing? Puerto Rico is historically Catholic, deeply Catholic. And yet, the flag most Puerto Ricans carry today is not rooted in Catholic symbolism. It is rooted in Republican, liberal, and in many ways secular ideological traditions. That raises a real question. How did a people with such strong Catholic identity end up embracing a flag built on symbols that come from a completely different philosophical world?
That is why the argument never dies. For some Puerto Ricans, Azul Celeste feels more original, more revolutionary, more tied to the flag's earlier independence symbolism. For others, dark blue became familiar through official use and state institutions. And for others, royal blue is now defended as the proper modern standard. And then I often wonder a lot. If this flag came from the Cuban model, then what exactly happened to the blue? Was the original shade really that different? Or are modern Puerto Ricans projecting politics backwards into design history? What is the real blue of the flag of Puerto Rico? If you're in America, Canada, or Europe, this matters. It matters a lot. Because Puerto Rico is probably one of the few, if not the only, where one flag can have different versions and mean history, rebellion, censorship, exile, and political argument all at once. Then comes one of the most disturbing chapters in the story. In 1948, the Puerto Rico legislature approved Law 53, the Ley de la Mordaza, or gag law, signed by Puerto Rican Governor Jesus T. Piñero on June 10 of the same year. Among other restrictions, it criminalized public displays associated with Puerto Rican nationalism, including the Puerto Rican flag. In other words, on American soil, displaying the Puerto Rican flag could become a crime. Stop and think about that. A people whose flag now is everywhere once lived under a law that treated that same flag like contraband. That alone makes this one of the most extraordinary flag stories probably in the world. What do you think? And now we arrive at one of the most fascinating details in the entire history. In 1948, Puerto Rico made its first appearance at the London Olympics. But the delegation did not march under the now familiar Puerto Rican flag. Instead, they brought a white sporting flag bearing the Great Seal of Puerto Rico. Sources describing the 1948 Games note that the new flag with the coat of arms was used that year, and flag references identify the white sporting flag as the one used by Puerto Rico at the 1948 and 1952 Olympics. It also had the name of Puerto Rico written in red over the Great Seal of the island. This is incredible. Puerto Rico has its own Olympic team. After being fought for, debated for, but it didn't have a flag yet, not an official one. For a lot of Puerto Ricans, this is probably the most surprising part of this episode. Did you know about that flag? Because sports is one of the places that Puerto Rican identity becomes undeniable. And yet, the island's first Olympic appearance came under probably an improvised flag. I mean, this is not trivia. This is historical facts. And this is history showing you in one image the awkward tension between Puerto Rican identity and official symbolism. The current Puerto Rican flag was made official in 1952, when the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico was established. But official status did not end the argument. It only changed its stage. From there, different blues, protest versions, and modern black and white or black Puerto Rican flags gave the symbol new meanings. The flag survived repression, but it never escaped politics. It became too important for that. And maybe that's the real story. Puerto Rico's flag is not controversial because Puerto Ricans do not love it. It is controversial because they do. There are flags that mark a government, and then there are flags that mark people. Puerto Rico has had Spanish flags, a revolutionary flag, a provincial flag, a flag born in exile, a banned flag. We even had an Olympic flag. And more arguments over the shade of blue that is supposed to go on the flag that we can count. And yet, that confusion may be part of the truth, because Puerto Rico has never had a simple political story. So why would its flag have one? The Puerto Rican flag was never just a design. It was fought over, carried, banned, replaced, reclaimed, and loved. And that is why it still matters. If you like the content, I appreciate a like, I appreciate a subscribe, but there's also 2 other ways you can really show how much you like this content. You can become a member, and there are 3 different tiers of membership. But also, if you don't want to commit to a monthly membership fee, you can give me a super thanks and add a tip if you like the cocktails. That's a good way to tip me. So once again, thank you for watching. Have a great Sunday. Have fun, get smart, read a lot, go to church. And if you made this cocktail or if you've had it before, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Salud.